Do you know about this deleted scene from Squid Game? In Season 2 we see that player 124 during the games becomes very aggressive toward player 380, which eventually leads to his desire to eliminate her. Most viewers attached this aggression to the jealous feelings, as players 120 for best friend Thanos paid too much attention to player 380. Yet, the real reason that sparked this aggression was cut from the final show, and here's why. In behind-the-scenes footage, we see how the six-legged race scene was filmed. Besides Thanos' performance, we can notice that player 124 had a lot of screen time during his turn in the game, which he struggled to complete. Because of his failures, player 380 aggressively pressured him to focus and win the little game. This scene was deleted from the final version, but it was important in showing why player 124 started to hate player 380 and wanted revenge later. Drop in the comments your prediction of player 124's death in Season 3, and let's check the next deleted scene. In Season 1, police officer Junho is searching for his missing brother, who by accident turns out to be the frontman of Squid Game. While visiting his brother's last known residence, Junho explores a tiny room. For just a second, the camera shows a fish tank with dead fishes inside. Why to mention this? Well, a deleted scene that was fully filmed but later removed showed Junho walking down a corridor carrying a water bag with exactly these two goldfish. The scene ends with him releasing the fishes into the tank and watching them swim. The director later explained why this scene was cut. In an interview, he said he didn't see much value in it and felt it might confuse viewers. Do you think he made the right choice? Share your opinion in the comments. The next scene was also removed, but if it had been included in Squid Game, it could have dramatically changed the show's story. Following the events of Season 1, after a year since the Squid Game, Gi-hoon finally starts spending his winnings. On his way to board a plane to America to see his daughter, he finds a card with the Squid Game host's number in his pocket. But when he calls and asks, "Who are you?" he is ordered to board the plane and leave. Instead, Gi-hoon turns back, leaves the airport, and starts his personal investigation, which leads us into Season 2. However, this ending was originally different, as confirmed by Squid Game director Wang Dong-hyuk. In the first version, Gi-hoon actually gets on the plane and leaves. During filming, two endings were shot, and the version we see was chosen as the final one. And which ending of Season 1 would you have preferred? But besides removing unnecessary scenes in the director's opinion, there are dozens of bloopers that were left in the show. You most likely didn't expect that these scenes were not planned. During the Mingle game, Thanos' cowboy dance moves on the side of the platform were not planned. But after reviewing the footage, the director decided to keep this little dance in the final version. Yet, the dance of Thanos and his friend holding hands was not spontaneous. This is an actual dance from the childhood song that plays during the scene and was added by the director himself. During the six-legged race game, the pink soldiers couldn't film the scene in one take due to the loud gunshot sounds. The very sensitive pink soldiers kept shaking every time they heard a shot, so the scene took many takes. During the bathroom fight, the actor who played Thanos forgot player 333's nickname, which was MG Coin. That's why there is a slight delay between Thanos approaching him and starting to talk. Also, the beginning of the fight was changed. Initially, player 333 was supposed to hit Thanos, but during filming, the scene was adjusted to have Thanos lean away and respond with a hit instead. But one of the most remarkable bloopers was left on display, yet many viewers simply did not pay attention to it. In episode 1 of Squid Game, Gi-hoon and player 067 have an unexpected encounter even before entering the deadly competition. While Gi-hoon is running for his life from loan sharks, he accidentally bumps into Si-byuk, who is holding a cup of coffee. Despite his urgency, Gi-hoon pauses to apologize and picks up her fallen cup. What follows next became one of the most memorable improvised moments in the series. Yoon-jae revealed that he was only supposed to return the cup, but he decided to ad-lib by attempting to put the straw back in. Ho-yeon portrayed player 067 couldn't contain her laughter and had to lower her head to stay in character. Observant viewers might notice her shoulders shaking, a proof of her stifled giggles. Yoon-jae shared that by a script he would just pick it up and hand the coffee cup to her, but he noticed the straw on the ground, so he improvised and tried to stick the straw back into the cup. That made Ho-yeon crack up so hard that she couldn't lift her head. The director loved the authenticity of the moment, as it showcased Gi-hoon's awkward yet kind nature. This blooper became a big surprise for many fans, as many watched the show and have never noticed it. Another big blooper was left in the recently released Squid Game Season 2. The recruiter's death scene had fans breathing a sigh of relief, but it also left behind a small blooper. During the intense conversation between Gi-hoon and a detective, sharp-eyed viewers may notice the dead recruiter blinking. While it's easy to miss, this detail became a fun discovery for those who rewatched the episode. While the scene's emotional weight still lands perfectly, this tiny mistake adds a human touch to the production process. Let's jump a few episodes ahead and find another blooper. During the six-legged race, all players had to compete in teams of 5, with their legs tied together. Each player had to complete a small game to successfully finish the competition within 5 minutes. Gi-hoon's team started impressively, quickly passing the first 3 games. But attentive viewers know that this is not entirely true. In fact, during the first small game, player 222 who had to flip the tile, failed to complete the task. Even though the tile appears to be flipping on screen, the actor shared in behind-the-scenes footage that she didn't actually manage to complete the task. Instead, she had to pretend to win while CGI handled the effect in post-editing. But there is one blooper that turned into a real problem for the show, and here's why. When Season 2 was released, a small but critical mistake happened during the rebellion scene. The cameraman accidentally appeared in the frame and was left in the final version. If you go and watch the scene now, you'll notice that the cameraman is no longer there. As soon as the first viewers spotted him, the mistake quickly spread online, reaching Netflix. In response, they rushed to post-edit the scene and re-uploaded the episode without the cameraman. Isn't this a good reminder that human errors can happen even in shows of this scale? But let's take a look at something less funny. Obviously, to deliver real emotions on screen, actors perform naturally and with full dedication. However, this level of commitment can sometimes lead to painful results. Slaps in the show became one such example. You may recall the first scene where slaps appear. This is in Season 1 when Gi-hoon meets the recruiter. Every time Gi-hoon loses in Dokji game, the recruiter slaps him, creating a mix of tension and dark humor. Knowing the director would want the scene to feel dynamic and authentic, actor Lee Young-jae encouraged actor Gong-yoo to slap him for real, despite the discomfort it would cause. The result was slaps so realistic and painful that in an interview Lee Young-jae shared, "He slapped me many times that day." No wonder that Gi-hoon's skin became purple with red in the scene, most likely without an additional makeup. Yet, if these kinds of slaps were at least planned before the scene, the next slap was accidental and caused the actor to apologize many times after. During the six-legged race in Season 2, player 120 tried to control the emotions of player 0 for 4 by slapping her to make her continue playing the game. Even though the slap was scripted, the force behind it wasn't. The actor who performed the slap didn't manage the strength and accidentally hit the co-actress too hard. This led to a big ice bag on her face to cool down the slap and many apologies from the actor. But the most memorable slap happened in the next scene. The actor who portrayed player 001 during the six-legged race had to slap himself pretending to lose control and struggle with his emotions. On screen, these slaps looked very painful and realistic because they actually were. The actor was not gentle with himself and delivered real painful slaps. They were so strong that his skin turned red to the point where even makeup couldn't fully cover the marks. At some moment, even director became worried that due to the actor's dedication, they wouldn't have a chance to reshoot the scene because of the visible slap marks on his face.